He's the one keeping me warm now. Go sleep in your damn car. That's what she said to me. Through the intercom. At the front door of the house I paid for. I stood there in a business suit, suitcase in hand, after a red-eye flight from Chicago. No welcome home. No hug. No explanation. Just her voice, cold as ice, laughing in the background with someone else, Mike. And that's when I heard it. A loud slap on skin. Her giggling. A moan. My stomach dropped. You're seriously doing this, right now? I muttered, not even sure if she could hear me. You don't live here anymore, Ryan, she said. I need space. Mike needs space. And your credit card just paid for our sushi. Click. Silence. I should have screamed. Should have kicked the door in. But I didn't. Because what she didn't know was that I already knew everything. That I had a plan. That a private investigator had dropped something into our hallway drawer last night. That narcotics control had been tipped off about our address. Tonight, she crossed the line. Tomorrow morning, she'll be in handcuffs. And me? I'll be watching it all from my car, sipping coffee, smiling. The second I stepped away from the front door, a gust of wind hit me. Or maybe it was just the weight of betrayal finally crashing down. I tossed my suitcase into the trunk and sat in the driver's seat. I didn't drive off. I couldn't. My hands were gripping the steering wheel like a man about to snap it in half. My jaw clenched. My heart was hammering. I could still hear her voice echoing in my head. He's the one keeping me warm now. She said it so casually. Like I was trash she forgot to take out before inviting her new toy over. I opened my glove box and took out the folder. The one the PI handed me 2 nights ago in a parking lot like we were dealing arms. But this was more dangerous than weapons. This was truth, cold, raw, unforgiving truth. Inside were the photos. Shot after shot. Amber, my wife of 5 years, wrapped around some guy with sleeve tattoos and a crooked grin. At first, it looked like some sleazy Tinder fling. But it wasn't. This was deeper. Rehearsed. Comfortable. Mike. They weren't hiding. They were living in my home like I was the affair, and he was the husband. They cooked dinner together. Watched movies. Used my grill. He drove her to Pilates in my car. One of the shots even showed them with my dog, Rocky, like they were a little family. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't a fling. This was a coup. She wasn't just cheating. She was replacing me. But that's not the part that hit hardest. The last page of the file had a screenshot, an email forwarded from her laptop. My PI's tech guy hacked her cloud backup. The email was from her sister, and it read, Amber, be smart. Ryan's not dumb. Don't let Mike leave stuff in the open again. And don't forget that prenup is useless if you can prove he's unstable. Get under his skin. Record him. Then we take everything. My vision blurred. My own wife was trying to bait me into losing it. So she could rip me apart in court. So she could take the house, the car, the dog, the money. All of it. Every kiss, every whisper, every I love you. All rehearsed. All fake. And I have been sleeping beside her, loving her, protecting her, while she plotted a hostile takeover like some Wall Street snake in lingerie. That's when I made the call. I dialed my guy. He answered on the first ring. Yeah, it's time, I said. You planted the stash? 2 grams of white fantasy in the drawer next to the keys. Looks like it's been there a month. Good. Call it in. Give them the address. Done. They'll be there before sunrise. I hung up. Now, I don't usually believe in revenge. But this wasn't revenge. This was justice. Amber thought she had the upper hand. She thought she'd kicked the fool out of his own house. But what she didn't realize was that the fool she married had teeth. And he was done being quiet. At 3:37 a.m., I parked 2 blocks away from the house, pulled up a live stream app on my phone, connected to a discreet camera the PI installed in our living room smoke detector. There they were. Mike shirtless. Amber in my hoodie. Both passed out on the couch. Empty wine glasses on the table. Sushi trays on the floor. They looked peaceful. Perfect. For now. Then I saw the flashing lights. Red and blue danced on the curtains. And that's when Amber shot up, confused, staggering toward the window. A knock on the door. Voices shouting, narcotics control. Open up. She looked straight at the door, eyes wide, lips trembling. Mike fell off the couch, half naked, panicking. I zoomed in on her face. And for the first time in a long time, I saw it. Fear. Amber opened the door like she was still half asleep, wrapped in the same hoodie I used to wear on lazy Sunday mornings when we'd cook pancakes together. Now it was stretched across her bare legs, and for a split second, I almost forgot what she'd done. Almost. The officer's voice was clear through the live stream mic. Ma'am, we received an anonymous tip about narcotics stored at this address. Step aside. She laughed, nervously. You've got the wrong house. There's nothing like that here. Is there anyone else inside? My boyfriend, she muttered. That little stammer almost made me smirk. Mike stumbled into view behind her, eyes wide, shirtless, hair a mess. He looked like a raccoon caught in a trash can. Honestly, not a bad comparison. Another officer walked in with gloves, heading straight for the entryway drawer. Boom. Found it. He held up the little bag, sealed tight, pure white. I'd never touched drugs in my life, but I knew enough to fake a believable stash. My PI made sure it matched street-grade quality. Just enough to scream, intent to distribute. Amber's smile collapsed. Wait, what is that? That's not mine. That's not mine. Her voice cracked as panic hit. Mike took a step back. Yo, what the hell is this? I don't do that sh*t. The officer turned to them. You both need to sit down. Right now. Amber backed away, hands up like she was dodging invisible bullets. This is a mistake. We've never, she looked at Mike, eyes wide with betrayal. Did you bring that in here? What? No. Mike shouted. What are you talking about? Oh, now the lovebirds were turning on each other. I watched from my car like it was a front row seat at the most satisfying concert of my life. Another officer started reading her rights. Amber's hands were cuffed behind her back. The camera caught her mouthing something over and over. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. But it was. It was very real. And it was earned. She always played the victim. Always blamed everyone else, me, her boss, her family, the universe. But now? No one was left to blame. Mike tried to pull the "I'm just visiting" card, but they weren't buying it. The stash was found in her house. In her drawer. His fingerprints were on the bag. Game over. The last image I saw before the cops shut the door was Amber's face, twisted with disbelief, mascara smeared, lips trembling. She looked like a child being dragged out of a candy store. The live stream cut out. And for the first time in months, I leaned back in my seat, closed my eyes, and breathed. Not relief. Not happiness. Just stillness. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't need to. I drove to a diner on the outskirts of town, ordered the greasiest eggs they had, and watched the sunrise. The waitress asked why I looked so satisfied. Long night, I said. Handled some overdue business. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Ryan. What the F***K did you do? Her voice was full of static and rage. She was calling from jail. I let her scream for 30 seconds. Then I cut in, calm as a priest at a funeral. You remember when you said I don't live here anymore? She went quiet. I continued. You're right. I don't. I live rent-free in your head now. And soon, you'll be evicted from mine completely. Ryan, listen, this wasn't supposed to go like this. I was going to save it. I got the file. I read the emails. You and your sister? The recordings? The plan to paint me as crazy? She gasped. Yeah, she knew what I meant. I gave you every part of me, I said. And you tried to bury me. No, I didn't. You buried yourself. Click. I ended the call. Outside the diner, a new day was starting. People going to work. Kids waiting for school buses. The world moving on. And me? I finally felt like I could move too. But it wasn't over yet. Not by a long shot. Because the world was about to learn what kind of woman Amber really was. And I had one more play left on the board. I didn't go home. That place wasn't home anymore. Not after everything she did in it. Not after what I saw. Instead, I checked into a quiet hotel off the highway, far from our neighborhood, far from the whispers, the fake smiles, the couples who used to envy us. I needed somewhere I could think. Somewhere clean. Somewhere untouched by her. And I needed to plan my next move. Amber thought getting cuffed in front of her boyfriend would be the end of it. That I'd feel satisfied watching her reputation fall apart in a single night. But no, this wasn't about satisfaction anymore. This was about truth. And the truth was, Amber hadn't just cheated on me with Mike. She had built a whole damn empire of lies. I started going through the digital folder my PI sent me. What I found made my skin crawl. Emails. Messages. Bank statements. Amber had opened a second account in her maiden name. She'd been funneling money from our joint savings into it for months, bit by bit, hiding it with fake transfers labeled utilities, insurance, even dog food. Clever, but not clever enough. And then there was him. Mike. He wasn't just some sleazy side piece. He had a record. Assault. Fraud. Even a bar fight that ended with a guy in a coma. She had brought that into our home. Into our bed. Worse? She'd given him access. To our passwords. Our finances. Our business accounts. I've been building a digital consulting firm for 3 years. Contracts, clients, everything clean, sharp, honest. But somehow, during my last trip, someone tried to log into our main server from my IP address back home. She was helping him steal from me. That's when I knew this wasn't just betrayal. It was warfare. I called my lawyer. A no-nonsense bulldog named Patricia who didn't blink unless it was to reload. I want everything traced, I told her. Every cent, every login, every unauthorized change. You got it, she said. And Ryan? Yeah, I always knew she was fake. But this? This is criminal. Exactly. 2 hours later, I was sitting across from a retired judge who worked private arbitration cases. We discussed filing for divorce with cause, seeking restitution, freezing assets. Everything. It was time to dismantle the fake life she built on my back. But I wasn't done yet. I remembered something my PI had mentioned when he handed over the folder. He said she'd been seeing Mike long before I suspected. Maybe even before we got married. That the wedding might have been part of a bigger plan. So I did what I swore I'd never do. I messaged her sister. You know it's over, right? She replied instantly. I don't know what you mean. Save it. I've got the emails. The recordings. Your voice telling her to bait me into looking crazy. I could bury you too. She went quiet for 20 minutes. Then sent this. I didn't know she'd go this far. I just thought she wanted out. Mike. Mike changed her. No. She was always like this. Mike just gave her the excuse. She never responded after that. Later that night, I checked the neighborhood group chat. It was blowing up. Someone posted a video, Amber being walked out in cuffs, screaming, mascara running, neighbors watching from their porches. Some laughed. Some looked shocked. But the best comment? Guess she won't be hosting the HOA barbecue this year. I laughed for the first time in days. She built this perfect image. The classy wife. The supportive partner. The social butterfly. But now? She was just a headline waiting to happen. I looked in the mirror of my hotel room. Saw the man she tried to erase. He looked tired. But stronger. Sharper. More dangerous. And more alive than he had in years. This wasn't just about destroying her. This was about reclaiming me. And I wasn't done yet. Because when someone burns your world down, you don't rebuild the same house. You build a fortress. 3 days passed since the narcotics bust. Amber was out on bail, of course she was. Her dad was a retired attorney, and her family had always been good at pretending they were cleaner than they were. But even Daddy's money couldn't clean what the whole town had seen with their own eyes. She didn't come crawling to me. Didn't text. Didn't beg. She knew better. But what she did do was show up at my hotel. Like a ghost with too much lipstick and not enough shame. I was coming back from a meeting with my lawyer when I saw her sitting on the lobby couch. Legs crossed. Big sunglasses. Hoodie pulled low. Like she was undercover, except everyone already knew who she was. Ryan, she said, standing slowly, voice low and desperate. Please. I just want to talk. I looked at the receptionist behind the desk. She glanced at Amber, then at me. Gave me a small, pitying smile. I turned back to Amber. You've got 2 minutes. Talk fast. We stepped outside. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Hair tied in a knot, shaking slightly. The confident, smug version of her from a week ago was gone. What stood in front of me was a woman watching her empire crumble. I didn't know Mike had a record, she blurted. I swear. I felt alone. You were always working. Traveling. I thought. Don't, I said sharply. Don't you dare blame this on me. She froze. I stepped closer. You plotted behind my back. Lied to me. Used me. You had plans, Amber. You tried to push me over the edge just to win in court. This wasn't loneliness. This was premeditated betrayal. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean for it to go this far. But it did. And now you get to live with it. She reached for my arm. I pulled back like her touch burned. You used to be good, I said. I believed in you. You could have had everything with me. Instead, you wanted everything from me. And now? You're nothing to me. Just a bad investment I'm writing off. She stared at me, lips parted, trying to find a way back in. There wasn't one. I walked away without another word. Back in my hotel room, I poured myself a drink and watched the new footage that came in from the PI. Turns out, Amber hadn't just been sleeping with Mike. There was a third guy. A bartender named Chase. Younger. Dumber. Tattooed head to toe. And the kicker? The footage was from 2 months ago while I was home. She brought him into our house while I was at the gym. I stared at the screen in disbelief. She didn't just betray me. She degraded everything we built. She spit on our vows, danced on our memories, and let a trail of losers touch what I thought was sacred. I felt the rage bubble again. But this time, I didn't let it boil over. I smiled. Because now, I had enough to bury her. The next morning, Patricia, my lawyer, filed the divorce papers. With everything we had on her, the court would strip her of every dime she tried to steal. We attached photos, screenshots, dates, proof of drug possession, financial fraud, adultery with multiple partners, and a request for sole ownership of the house, car, and business assets. But that wasn't all. We added a clause that she legally couldn't use my last name again. Amber Hale was going back to being Amber Lewis. Just another nobody. Later that day, I called her again. One last time. She answered on the first ring. Ryan, I'm sending the papers to your father's address. Sign them, or we go public. Full media. Full exposure. Silence. Then, you wouldn't. Oh, Amber, I already did. 2 days after I made the call, the media got a hold of the story. Well, I helped them find it. A local blog that specialized in scandals and suburban drama ran the headline first. HOA Queen busted. Drug raid reveals ugly affair behind gated community glamour. It went viral by morning. By lunchtime, her face was plastered all over social media, mugshot included. The comments were brutal. Some were laughing. Some were shocked. But the best ones? The ones that came from the women who used to worship her. I always thought she was fake. Guess that clean-eating lifestyle wasn't so clean after all. She told me my husband was trash. Meanwhile, she was banging 2 bartenders. I sat in my car outside the courthouse, sipping coffee, watching her life unravel one comment at a time. She deserved it. Every second of it. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about humiliation. I didn't need revenge. I needed closure. Real closure. And closure only comes when the truth is louder than the lie. That's why I emailed the blog's editor the video. The one where she said to me through the intercom, "He's the one keeping me warm now. You don't live here anymore." And just like that, the narrative became crystal clear. Amber wasn't just a cheating wife. She was a manipulator, a user, a scammer playing house with a man who would have given her the world. Now she had nothing. I walked into the courthouse feeling lighter. Patricia met me inside, sharp as always, dressed like she was about to destroy someone, and she was. "Amber's trying to stall," she said as we walked toward the courtroom. Her lawyer filed a motion to delay the divorce hearing. On what grounds? She claims emotional distress. Says she needs more time to recover before making life-altering decisions. I smirked. She made those decisions in my bed. With Mike. And Chase. Patricia didn't smile, but I saw the slight twitch at the corner of her mouth. Exactly. I filed a counter-motion. We'll proceed. Judge already agreed. Today is the day. And it was. The courtroom was quiet, clean, and cold. Amber walked in wearing beige. Her hair was tied back. She looked like she was auditioning for sympathy. Her lawyer spoke first. Tried to spin it. Said she was confused. Overwhelmed. That I had been emotionally distant. That the marriage was already breaking. But when Patricia stood up, the energy shifted. She listed every infraction. Every lie. Every act of betrayal. She handed over the PI's report, the photos, the emails, the screenshots of money transfers. Even a recording of Amber laughing with her sister, saying, "If I push him hard enough, he'll snap." Then I win everything. Amber turned pale. She whispered something to her lawyer, who just shook his head slowly like, "You didn't tell me all of this." By the time Patricia was done, the judge didn't even need a recess. All marital assets will be transferred to the petitioner. The house, the business, and remaining accounts. Ms. Lewis, he said her maiden name with intent, is awarded no alimony, given the overwhelming evidence of misconduct. Amber didn't move, didn't blink, just sat there, shattered. And for the first time, I got to be the one who didn't say a word. I didn't need to scream, didn't need to cry, didn't need to ask, "Why did you do this to me?" The world already knew. As I walked out of that courtroom, the weight lifted. Not all of it, but enough. I was no longer married. No longer tricked. No longer a man standing outside his own house with a suitcase full of lies. I was free. And yet, something still burned inside me. Because as much as she'd lost, she'd still walked away. But I had one more card left to play. And this time, I was going to make sure she didn't just lose her house. She'd lose every person she still had left. Freedom tastes strange when it comes after war. It doesn't come with champagne or fireworks. It comes in quiet moments, like the silence of my phone not lighting up with Amber's lies anymore. The peace of knowing she can't touch my money, my business, or even say my last name again. But peace wasn't enough. Not yet. Because Amber still had one thing left: her circle. Her girls. Her followers. Her family. The people who hadn't seen the real her. Not yet. Some still believed she was misunderstood, that I was cold, that she just fell in love with someone else, and that I had overreacted. They didn't know what she really was. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. When you deal with someone who weaponizes people, you don't just break their sword, you shatter their army. So I made a list. Not of names, but of moments. Moments where she said one thing and did another. Moments she slipped up in front of others. Moments I didn't think mattered at the time, but now they were gold. There was the time she bragged to her friend Kelsey that she had backup plans if her marriage didn't work. The time she told my cousin that I wasn't man enough for her anymore. The time she posted on her private Instagram story, thinking I wouldn't see it, about how playing nice gets you nowhere. Screenshots, voice memos, videos. I compiled them all into one long reel. Raw, unedited, no commentary. Just Amber, exposing herself with her own words. I uploaded it anonymously to a private file sharing site and sent the link to everyone in her world. Her friends, her parents, her yoga group, even the woman who ran the PDA with her. Subject line: the real Amber, unfiltered. By nightfall, the damage had begun. My inbox blew up, not with hate, but with disbelief. I had no idea she was like this. I feel sick? She said you were the one cheating. She tried to flirt with my husband last summer. Her empire wasn't just collapsing. It was imploding. By the next day, she was deleted from every group chat she used to control like a queen bee. Her phone number was blocked by friends she'd known for 10 years. Her Instagram? Gone. Deactivated. No more morning selfies with fake positivity. No more, ladies, protect your energy posts. Just radio silence. I didn't do it to be cruel. I did it because truth matters. Because there's a version of betrayal that's even worse than infidelity. It's the version where someone pretends to be a saint while bleeding you dry from the inside. And she had to feel it. All of it. Later that week, Patricia called with one last update. Her father's firm is cutting ties with her publicly, she said. He released a statement saying he's deeply disappointed by her recent actions and that he had no involvement in any of her decisions. I nodded slowly. He's covering his own ass. Still, it's a loud message. Good. Let it be loud. Let it echo. Amber hadn't just lost her marriage or her reputation, she lost her safety net. The family that once defended her now saw her for what she was. A hurricane in heels. I took one last look at the house before it went on the market. Emptied it out, left the walls bare. I walked through every room like it was a crime scene. Because to me, it was. That place used to smell like pancakes and vanilla candles. Now it reeked of lies. In the living room, I stood where I'd watched her get dragged out in cuffs and whispered to no one. You almost had me. You almost destroyed me. But now, you're just a warning. A warning to every man who ignores the signs. Who doubts his gut. Who stays silent too long. Amber didn't break me. She rebuilt me. And I was almost ready to close the book. Almost. But there was one final chapter to write. Because I wasn't the only one she lied to. There was one more person who deserved to hear the truth. Her mother. I never thought I'd dial her number again. Janice Lewis, Amber's mother. A polished woman with cold eyes and a perfect smile. The kind of woman who could pour you tea while judging your soul. We never got along. She thought I was beneath her daughter. Too quiet. Too ordinary. Not ambitious enough. If only she knew the truth. She picked up on the third ring. Ryan. Her voice was dry, cautious. Yeah, it's me, I said. I didn't bother with pleasantries. I didn't call to catch up. She exhaled slowly. I assume this is about this situation. You mean your daughter turning my life into a bad soap opera? Yeah, that. Silence. Then, she's made mistakes. But she's going through a lot. No, don't. Don't defend her. Not this time. I heard her shift, maybe adjusting her posture. Always so proper, even in crisis. She's still my daughter. And I was your son-in-law for 5 years, I snapped. You think I don't know what game she played? You raised her. You taught her how to fake everything. The smile. The performance. The art of the cover-up. Ryan. No. You're going to listen. Because I've kept quiet long enough. I told her everything. The affairs. The money she siphoned. The drugs. The plan to gaslight me and take everything. The recordings, the files, the videos she never thought would leave our house. I laid it all out like a prosecutor in court. When I finished, the line was quiet. Completely quiet. Then I heard something I never expected from Janice. She whispered, almost to herself, "Oh my God, she did it again." That stopped me cold. What? She didn't answer right away. When Amber was in college, there was another man. An older one. Married. She told everyone he was abusive. That he ruined her life. But after they split, we found out he'd lost his job, his wife left him, and he had to move states. Rumors said she destroyed him. I said nothing. I just let her sit in the truth. My husband covered it up. Told her it was a learning experience, she went on, voice shaking now. We thought if we gave her enough love, enough money, enough chances. You created this, I said flatly. You didn't raise a daughter. You raised a manipulator. A user. And now she's out of chances. Janice sighed, and for the first time, she sounded small. What are you going to do now? I paused. Then I said the most honest thing I'd said in weeks. I'm going to live. She said nothing else. I hung up. And just like that, the final string tying me to that family was cut. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vengeful. I felt done. Later that night, I stood in my new apartment, minimal, clean, quiet. I poured a drink, looked out the window at the city lights and thought about everything I'd been through. Amber's laugh, Mike's smirk, the betrayal, the lies, the ashes of the life I thought I had. But I wasn't broken. I was still standing, stronger, colder, smarter. And if there's one thing I'd tell any man reading this, it's this. Don't ignore your instincts. If something feels off, it is. If her words don't match her actions, watch her, not her mouth. And if you find yourself giving more than you're getting, walk away before you have to crawl out of the wreckage. I let love blind me, but I left with my eyes wide open. And now? Now I rebuild. Without her. Without the lies. Without the mask. Amber's story ends here. But mine? Mine's just beginning.